Anquan Boldin, shattered face. In 2008, Cardinals wide receiver Anquan Boldin leapt for a pass against the Jets and was sandwiched between two defenders. The collision was so violent that his face absorbed nearly all of the force. Boldin hit the ground and didn't move. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors found multiple fractured bones in his face. Surgeons had to rebuild it using 7 metal plates and more than 40 screws. And somehow, unbelievably, he returned later that same season, catching passes like he hadn't just had his face reconstructed. Fans were stunned. It was a harsh reminder of the brutality of football and the unreal toughness expected of its players. But it also sparked debate. At what point does the sport glorify pain too much? Still, Boldin kept suiting up. Ryan Shazier, spinal trauma. During a Monday night matchup in 2017, Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier lowered his head to make a routine tackle. He'd done it thousands of times. But this hit changed everything. He stayed on the turf, grabbing at his back, unable to move his legs. Doctors diagnosed a spinal contusion, a bruised spinal cord that left his future completely uncertain. He went through emergency spinal stabilization surgery, and for months, many wondered if he'd ever stand again. But Shazier pushed through, first standing, then walking, and eventually dancing at his own wedding. His playing career ended in an instant, but his story turned into one of the most powerful comebacks of spirit the sport has ever seen. The sight of him motionless still sticks with fans today. Andrew Luck, lacerated kidney. Most people associate Andrew Luck with constant hits and lingering injuries, but his scariest moment came quietly. In 2015, after taking a massive shot against the Broncos, Luck felt an odd, deep pain in his abdomen. Hours later, tests showed he had suffered a lacerated kidney and a torn abdominal muscle. He was bleeding internally, so much so that he even urinated blood. Doctors shut him down immediately. What made the injury so unsettling was how invisible it looked. No gruesome replay, no dramatic fall, just silent internal damage that could have turned deadly. Luck eventually returned, but injuries like this were a big reason he later walked away from the NFL altogether. Nick Chubb, catastrophic knee collapse. In 2023, Browns star running back Nick Chubb suffered one of the most disturbing injuries fans had seen in years. Near the goal line, a defender struck the side of his knee, and it folded inward in a way a human leg simply shouldn't. ESPN refused to show the replay. That's how bad it was. The aftermath revealed multiple torn ligaments, a full dislocation, and major structural damage that required complex surgery. The stadium fell silent as Chubb, famous for his strength and stoic demeanor, was carted off. It wasn't even his first major knee injury, adding emotional weight that hit fans especially hard. His future became uncertain instantly, though history shows he's never been one to quit. Mark Bonaconti, career-ending neck injury. In 1985, Mark Bonaconti, son of Hall of Famer Nick Bonaconti, suffered one of the most devastating injuries football has ever seen. Playing linebacker for the Citadel, he made a tackle and his head collided awkwardly with another player. His neck snapped. Mark was paralyzed from the shoulders down. Though it wasn't an NFL moment, it sent shockwaves through every level of football. Mark never walked again, but dedicated his life to spinal cord research, helping launch the Miami Project to cure paralysis. His injury changed how tackling was taught and became a grim reminder that a single second on the field can take everything away. Dak Prescott, compound ankle fracture. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott was scrambling against the Giants when he was tackled awkwardly. As he rolled over, his ankle was bent at an impossible 90-degree angle, pointing sideways. It was immediately clear he had suffered a compound fracture and dislocation, with the bone pressing through the skin. Dak fought back tears as he was carted off, waving to fans who were stunned into silence. The timing made it even worse. He was playing on a 1-year deal, betting on his health for a long-term contract. Doctors repaired the ankle and he eventually returned, but that twisted foot image became one of the most shocking visuals in NFL history. Patrick Edwards, shattered leg on a band cart. Houston wide receiver Patrick Edwards was sprinting downfield, tracking a deep ball, when his momentum carried him out of bounds, directly into a metal cart holding band equipment. What happened next was terrifying. His leg snapped on impact, resulting in a gruesome compound fracture with the bone protruding out. It was a freak accident that made national headlines and forced teams everywhere to rethink sideline layouts. Edwards endured multiple surgeries and fought his way back, but he was never quite the same player. His career took a dramatic turn because of equipment that never should have been there. Joe Theismann, infamous compound leg fracture. During Monday Night Football, Washington quarterback Joe Theismann dropped back for a trick play, only to be crushed by Lawrence Taylor and Harry Carson. Their combined weight snapped his leg instantly, shattering the tibia and fibula. One of the bones broke through the skin, creating one of the NFL's most infamous injuries. Players recoiled, and the broadcast refused to replay it. Theismann later said he felt a burning sensation before realizing his foot was pointing the wrong way. His Hall of Fame caliber career ended that night, and decades later, people still talk about the moment. Jalen Ramsey, torn meniscus. In Dolphins training camp, star cornerback Jalen Ramsey planted his foot and immediately felt his knee buckle. No collision, no big hit, just a sudden collapse that left him on the ground. Tests showed a torn meniscus that required surgery, sidelining him for months before he ever played a single snap for Miami. Fans were crushed. Teammates admitted it devastated the locker room's morale. The injury reignited debate about non-contact injuries, the turf, the workload, and whether teams pushed too hard in camp. Ramsey eventually returned, but it was a brutal reminder that even superstars are one awkward step away from disaster. Alex Smith, compound fracture and near amputation. Washington quarterback Alex Smith suffered a horrific leg fracture after being sacked by J.J. Watt and Kareem Jackson. Both bones in his lower leg snapped. But the real nightmare started after surgery, when he developed a flesh-eating bacterial infection. Doctors performed 17 surgeries and even considered amputating the leg. Smith lost more than 30% of his muscle and spent nearly 2 years fighting for his life and recovery. Through sheer grit, he returned to the NFL in 2020 and won Comeback Player of the Year. His leg will forever show the scars of a battle that went way beyond football. Trent Edwards, knockout shot. Bills quarterback Trent Edwards dropped back to pass when Jets linebacker Sean Ellis delivered a crushing hit that knocked him out cold. His head snapped back and he went limp on the turf. Trainers sprinted onto the field while players watched in shock. Edwards eventually walked off, but the concussion symptoms lingered, derailing what had been a promising career. This one hit marked a turning point he never fully recovered from. Damar Hamlin, cardiac arrest. During a Monday Night Football game between the Bills and Bengals, Damar Hamlin made a routine tackle, stood up, and immediately collapsed. His heart had stopped. Players panicked, waving for medics as trainers performed CPR for nearly 9 minutes. A defibrillator restarted his heart on the field. The game was ultimately canceled, something unheard of in the NFL. Against staggering odds, Hamlin survived, recovered, and returned to the league. His collapse wasn't just another injury. It made everyone rethink the real danger behind every snap. Michael Crabtree, torn Achilles. In 2013, 49ers receiver Michael Crabtree went down in off-season workouts with a sudden, non-contact Achilles tear. It instantly robbed him of the explosiveness that made him elite. He had surgery and returned later, but the injury changed his trajectory during what should have been the prime of his career. C.J. Spiller, broken collarbone. During a game against the Vikings, Bills running back C.J. Spiller took a routine tackle but landed awkwardly. His collarbone snapped so hard the bone visibly pushed against the skin. He needed surgery and missed the rest of the season. The injury halted his momentum and became the start of a decline he never fully reversed. Kevin Everett, spinal cord injury. In the 2007 season opener, Bills tight end Kevin Everett sprinted downfield on special teams and collided headfirst with the returner. He dropped immediately, unable to move. Doctors discovered he had fractured and dislocated vertebrae in his neck, putting him at high risk of permanent paralysis. Initial reports were grim. Many believed he'd never walk again. But thanks to rapid cooling treatment and spinal surgery, Everett eventually regained movement in his legs. His NFL career was over instantly, but his recovery was nothing short of miraculous. His injury remains one of the scariest moments in league history. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to watch some of our previous content, click the link on screen.